Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hello, you magic monsters. You. I just got an ad for some right wing thing talking about Jordan Peterson, and I'm like, what the F? Uh, it was that one guy with the weird nasally voice. These people. These people make so much money, and I think that they know. I think they know that they're full of shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, you missed a fair amount, Kevin. How are you? Welcome to the stream. I'm glad you're here. Um, uh, yeah. Yeah. Some fair amount, and you know, I have to say, um, after the stream, oh my gosh, do you know how long it took me to figure out? Let me show the code because it's annoying. That's how annoyed I am at it. Let's see. I think I threw it into actor actions here now. Choose this code right here. This little bit of code right here. Choose a walk to position. So we got these zones, and I'll show it so we're all super clear about it. Spawners, we got these zones here. So you can see these zones. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zones. And these actors who spawn at those points will choose to walk between any of those zones. Pretty simple. They're just cubes. There's nothing fancy about them. But it took me a freaking few hours to get the math right, to get them always in the zone. So sometimes they were just kind of bunched in the center. Sometimes they would come to the outskirts. At one point they were going like really far out, which made no sense. And finally, I got this code, which is, of course, super simple. You know, we find a random zone. That's it. So we get one of the 5 zones, or one of the X zones, however many zones there are. We get their radius, you know, really the radius of the left X and the right Y there. So the local scale divided by 2. And then we get a spot inside that. And this is the part that was way harder than it should have been. I don't know why it took so long to figure it out, but it did. But either way, so the new center is the random zones transform position, which is world position. And then their transform right times a random value of that radius, negative to positive, and forward and back, and then just pass that back. That's all it is. But let's see it in practice because it's really exciting to watch these move. So I've got 2 groups here. So these groups are going to stay between, there's 2 zones right here. So these goblins will stay roughly in this area, and all these other goblins will move around. So I'm going to select the zone here so we can kind of see. And they should start moving. Okay, so they are moving. And you can see that they've got little rays. These ones are not these are nav mesh now. I did go with the nav mesh, so they are using the nav mesh. The reason why these ones aren't moving, if you see the red lines up here, that's because they can see the player. So they're actually trying to enter a different state, which I haven't coded yet, which is why this guy is walking in place. Because but if I go and hide myself back here, so none of them can see me, I'll just hide in the corner. So now you can see the black line means the player's there, but they can't see the player or hear the player. Hearing is regardless of sight lines. If I'm close enough, then they'll be able to hear me without having to see me, and they'll know where I am regardless. So now we can see that they're moving around, which is really nice, and they're gonna, you know, so there's 2 things. One, they get a new spot that can be really far away in a different zone, but they also have a counter that tells them how long they can go before the next action is decision is made. So just because they're coming all the way over here doesn't mean they're actually going to make it there. It's possible that before they make it to their destination, their counter expires, like this one did, and he found a new spot over there. So generally speaking, this should be somewhat, you know, realistic feeling. They'll end up down here sometimes as well. They will, using the nav mesh, you can see the green line here is the direct line of sight, but that blue line was the, oh, he decided to idle. Now he's off the zones, but he's still between them, which is fine. But the blue line is the path line. So if we see them going around the trees, you'll see a difference between the two. Otherwise, they're kind of on top of each other, which is why you don't really see the green lines much. We can speed it up. Oh, there's a great example of the line where he's going to go around whatever obstacle this is. I guess a tree. So let's just speed it up a little bit more. Or speed it up. There we go. So now we see them running around like ants. So again, a lot of these zombies, a lot of these goblins up here are stuck in this zone or these two zones. So they're just basically walking between these two spots. They're not going to go outside of this zone. The others are going to go outside of this zone, and they're going to go wherever they feel like. Now, the other thing I added was the turn-based option. So if I go into turn-based, now we're still super sped up. Every time I... okay, we're back to normal speed. I think I need a okay, here we go. There we go. So we're on turn base. Some of them can see me, but the ones who can't will end up doing their actions as I cycle through. And so in turn base, they have slightly different actions. And if we see one of the goblins here, we can see that they have an action patrol and then action patrol turn base. Since we're on turn base, that's turned on. The actor actions controls that. Turn base actually is a variation of action patrol with slightly different code, and I also changed the variables here as well so that there's slightly less chance they'll idle, and when they do idle or walk, they have a shorter time period to do so. But when they do walk, the couple things happen. One, they get this turn-based counter, so that they'll walk as long as that is up, even though we're in turn-based and the timer is not moving forward. But then half that time, if you look at the characters here, they'll turn red if they can't do an action, green if they can, and that means I can select back and forth between the two, but I can't select these two because they can't do an action, and yellow, meaning they can do an action, but they have to wait. So right here, the red means nobody's doing actions. Time is moving forward, and so is for the bad guys there. But when the bad guys do end up moving, you'll see these dots turn yellow, which is the turn-based wait. There, you see it right there. And I've coded that to be half the amount of time that the characters will walk for. So essentially, it gives them an opportunity to move before the players can just do more actions. But then they keep moving, and you can see that in the scene view. You can see them moving even though we're going. So I'm just going to hold down space here, and that will just keep me selecting whatever action from the players, and we can just watch them all move a little bit here and there. Now the ones with the red lines in the scene view, they're in a different state. That's the one we're going to work on today. Hey Fredo, how are you? And then there you go. So yeah. So, of course, the patrol they're idling. They could be villagers, they could be bad guys, but generally speaking, they're far enough away from the player that, they're just milling about. How far that is, I don't know. I just kind of hard-coded it right now to be 30 meters for sight and 10 meters for hearing. So, yeah. And we also have the sight angle. I think that's working, but it's hard to tell, where they have to be looking towards the player to see them. So if you do happen to sneak up behind them, they won't see you unless they randomly turn around. Nice. Well, I'm copying Might and Magic 6. I'm not copying, but it's very similar in style. It's not exactly that, but it's close enough to where it should feel very similar. So yeah. So what we're doing today, though, is working on the actor, the attack part. So the alert part. So I'm going to pause it here, and we're going to see where we left off. Where did we leave off? So let's see. I'll close this for now. Close this for now. We have actor action states. We have the patrol. That one seems done, or seems done for now at least. Is anything ever really done? Alert, which is what we're going to work on now. Seeking, which is, hey, we saw the player, but we don't see it anymore. So we want to go to the last player's last known position. Running away, which generally speaking will be, I believe, if they follow the player too far away from their home base, then they will run back. They will want to go back to home, and if they maybe some of them will want to run away if they get hurt too much, something like that. And then finally, well, actually, that's very similar to return to base. So return to base is I'm going home to the home base regardless of what happens. Where running away is I just want to get far away from the player, so I'm going to move away from the player. These actually might be the same thing. We'll have to think. These could be the exact same thing now that I think about it, but we'll get there later. We're going to go just down this list basically. Hello, Dustin. How are you? And so let's do alert now. Now the way I've set this up, last night. Originally, I had a whole lot of methods in action patrol, and then I made a new version for the turn-based patrol, and there was a lot of duplication. And so, and I also realized that if I wanted to have these as separate classes, even though now this one is this inherits from action patrol. I moved a lot of the stuff over to actor actions as the master controller, because things like the desired locomotion speed needed to hello Raphael, needed to go between the two scripts. Otherwise, as soon as I switch from one state to another, the desired locomotion would reset to 0. That wasn't ideal. So I realized that actor actions needs to hold a lot of the cross-state variables, such as desired locomotion speed, etc. And so distance to player. So all of these are now here, and that also makes these a little bit more simpler to look at. And actually, I can delete that now as well. So I can delete that debug log as well. That's nice. So I've added a bunch of comments. And in the process, by the way, I broke this. Oh, thanks, Kevin. Good to see you on the Discord. The Discord's fun. There's a lot of nice people there. I broke this a couple times. It was very frustrating. And this whole warp thing, there's an issue with the nav mesh. If you do a transform position, like transform position equals position, then the nav mesh agent will think it's not on the nav mesh, even though it clearly is on the nav mesh. So you have to do a warp to the transform position. It's very annoying. Very annoying. Anyways, yeah, so I did that, and then I made this version, and I took out all the stuff I don't need. So, this one, actually. Oh, yeah, this is a turn-based. Duh, it says turn-based right there. And so now we've got a couple extra methods for turn-based and do next turn-based action. Set new movement is an override, and that's because... why did we override this? Because of the turn-based timer. We need to have that, and then the actions for the player, set turn-based wait equals time divided by 2. That's where we get that yellow bit where the player has to wait for the bad guys to do some actions. That's also helpful when the bad guys are doing an attack and need to finish their attack, so the player gets hurt before the player can suddenly attack them and make them go into their got hit state, which would, of course, turn off their attack. And that's not cool. That would be cheating. So, yeah. So the next step is going to be basically doing a similar thing for alert or action alert, and then action alert turn-based. What I haven't decided yet, though, is whether action alert should inherit from action patrol. I feel like there's very big similarities, but there's also differences. So I kind of think, yeah, I don't know. I think I like yeah, I kind of feel like it needs to be different. But then other times it needs to be the same. Like this can be moved, I think. This can be here. If I pass in, oh, we have nav mesh agent. Oh, we do have nav mesh agent. So yeah, I can move that here, take it off of here. I do like skinnying these up. Actor actions. It makes it nicer. And then this one's got to be fixed too. Okay, actor actions. All right. So they're shorter scripts now. This is under 100 lines, and if I remove these, it's even less. That's nice. It can probably be even less than it is too. Like I don't need these. Don't need these. Look at that. It's only 80 lines now. And this one's only 160. 159. And I got to remove that. So yeah, so I did a fair amount of refactoring, and at the same time broke it and fixed it twice. Yep. Yeah, so the other big thing is now I'm using on enable, so the actor actions turns these scripts on and off. Hey, the bull. And so the on enable is when we do a thing like for the action patrol, real time basically. We set our next decision time to between 0 and 2. Technically, that means they won't all do their next decision at the exact same time. That next decision could include idle breaks. This is why that new dynamic animation thing will come in handy once I have a second idle break for the character, so that even if 3 or 4 of them do an idle break at once, they'll all look slightly different. I had to stretch all of a sudden. And yeah, and then on enable here, we do a little bit more, actually. This is the turn-based one. So the first thing we do is we set our time to next action, or get that, which is the player's next action. This is stored on the player, and then now, the time now. And if that's under 4 seconds, then we let the actor continue what it's doing. Basically, we set our turn-based counter to that time. Now, this is technically 4 in-game minutes, which for my game takes 12 seconds because there's 3 seconds per in-game minute. So 4 is actually 12 seconds, but we're converting that to real-world seconds here by saying turn-based counter equals that. So if it were 4, it can't be 4, but oh, now it can. So if it were 4, then it would be 4 seconds, real-world seconds on the turn-based counter. The player would have to then wait 2 seconds, and then the next decision time is basically time to next action. Oh yeah, a random time between their next action plus some extra time. So again, if they all are moving, they'd all have this randomized. So just separates it out a little bit. Yeah, and that keeps them moving so that when you hit turn-based, some of them, if they're still walking, they'll continue walking just for a little bit. Yeah, no big deal, but it makes it more organic, I guess, or realistic, I suppose, where they don't just all stop at once. But finally, aside from that, if they have much more time in their action, then we stop the actor and we choose to idle. We force it to be true. Let me see if I can get that to pop up. Okay, well, we force it to true. We don't. There's no chance it won't idle. And then we set the next decision time between 0 and 4. Again, this is now going to be in-game minutes. So if the clock is running up to 12 seconds of real world time for my game. And then the other thing is this set turn-based wait. I added this here. So we already had the turn-based wait on this character on each on the players. This is handling the human players, your characters. And so now we have the option to add a new wait time and true or false to add it or to make it the max. So if we're adding, we're just going to add it to the total. That's the less likely scenario. More often, we just want to get the maximum between what it is now and the new wait time. So, excuse me. So if we're, already waiting 3 seconds and I pass in 2, then it will stay at 3. Otherwise, it could get, additive where 10 characters all still going could give you 2 seconds and you have to wait a long time. So that's that. So I think we're gonna start from scratch here and do a brand new action attack or alert rather. And it's going to get a little complicated, I think, actually. So create new C# script. We're going to call this action alert. And similar to patrol, let's see. I am going to copy a fair amount of, what did I just do? All right, action patrol. Action patrol. All right. Why am I using AI? Where am I using that? Oh, for the nav mesh. Nav mesh is part of AI. Got it. I got it. Okay. So we're going to copy a fair amount of stuff from this to the other one, to the new one. There's going to be enough differences that I think it should be its own class, but there's also a lot of similarities. So we do need our actor actions, we need our animator, we need our actor, we need our nav mesh. Those are things we all need. I suppose, in a way, perhaps action patrol and action alert could both inherit from something that includes all of that. Ooh, the experience formula. So I changed the experience formula, as I mentioned on the Discord, and I have not yet updated. Merrick was kind enough to provide a very deep dive. It's also on the Discord, by the way, in the stream-related topics. If you want to look into it, a deep dive and a simple final version, copy-paste version of how to reverse that and get past an experience and figure out how what level you'd be at if you had X experience. So I need to kind of read that and kind of educate myself on the math. So I haven't implemented that yet. Currently, I'm using a lookup table. So it's working with the lookup table, but I want to use that algorithm because it makes a lot more sense to use the algorithm. So I think what I should do is make these inherit, and the things that I know I'm going to use every time for all of these, which are these and the setup for them. Yeah, I'm just gonna do all those. So we're gonna start another C# script. Excuse me. C# script, and this is going to be called, I don't know, it's doing this thing where it's not selecting it for me. Action states, perhaps we'll call it that for now. And in action states is going to have all the stuff. So we're going to use all of these up here. And so all the common stuff that we're using in all of these. So these can all be here. And I'm going to make this inherit from action states. And therefore, let's see what happens when I comment out these. It all should still work. Let's just see. I'm just going to press play, make sure everything still works as expected. Now, my problem yesterday with the problems is I broke it, and I had changed so much, and all I was doing was refactoring and skinnying up the code, deleting stuff I didn't need. But in the process, I accidentally changed a couple things that I didn't think were things that I was changing, but they were things I was changing. I just didn't realize it at the time. Okay, so they can all see the player, which is why they're not moving. So I have to go hide. I have to hide from them to make them move. All right. They appear to be moving as per usual, like little ants. All right, good. Yeah, so that's good. And now I can probably take my awake. And I wonder, do I have to do this? This whole warp thing is annoying me. I do that in a different spot when I instantiate the enemies, and I don't want to do it twice. I don't feel like I should have to do it twice, but I'm gonna try to find out because it was not working before, and it was annoying me. Why that is not considered a bug. Okay, let's see if they move. They do appear to be moving. Alright, so apparently I don't need to... Yeah, apparently I don't need to call that there, which is good. Which is good because I think everything else I can put in here. And then delete that. Don't do awake there. Okay. And I'm gonna be going slowly in this because I don't want to break anything. So I'm going to test after a lot of different changes. Better have a backup. Let's see. Do I have a backup? I do. I have a backup from an hour ago. But when I was doing it yesterday, I just did it and I didn't have a backup because I was just doing it. And it was one of those things, right, where I was just like, I'll just do this. No big deal. I just needed to figure out where the changes were, where the random line changes were. But I did, and it made it better in the end. So it's okay, but it frustrated me for big time. I don't know about where you live, but right now it's cold. It's last night was in the 50s Fahrenheit, and it's windy, and it's 16 degrees Celsius right now, and mostly cloudy and windy, and it's going to be a high of 22, which is not normal for you Americans. It's 60 degrees, high of 72, which is very nice, but that's only going to last for, actually, according to this, it's not going to even hit 70. So there you go. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. All week is going to be a cold week. Hi, Dustin. Oh, well, I'm going to play some tabletop games tonight. I'll tell you what, I don't know if I have one of choice right now. It's been a while since I played one. Yeah, the warp thing is yeah, you can't just set the position. I learned that the hard way. I've got all these games behind me. I'll tell you what, I got this game called Lizard Wizard, The Magic Age in the Land of Astoria. I kind of want to play that. I got Role Player Adventures, which I don't think my friends will want to play. We don't really play that kind of game, but I got it because it was a big box, and I like big boxes, and it was on sale. Oh my gosh, that's nice. Where are you, Raphael? That's where it should be closer to like 36 to 40 here on the hottest part of the day. But it's just, this week is just cold. I don't know. It's a weird climate I live in. But I think Clank is always fun. I have the Clank in space now. I've not played that, but I have a regular Clank, and I got the Acquisitions Incorporated, the legacy one. So now if I play on that board, it's a bigger board, and we have all the cards from all the expansions together, so it makes some interesting playthroughs. I think Gloomhaven. I'd like to play Gloomhaven with my friends, and I'd like us to really try it out, because I don't think we'll like it long term necessarily, but I just want to try it. Yeah, that's it. All right, off-topic conversation done for now. But what about you? What are you looking forward to in the tabletop world? All right, so that was working. So do I need any of this other stuff? So idle chances is really only going to happen in the patrol. In the alert, they're going to do something. They're not going to be idling. They're going to be attacking. They're going to be walking towards the player. They're going to be range attacking. And any idle break will actually be a taunt. Or an idle break. It might be one of the two. I might, mix the two. Who knows? But that's gonna be that. And the other thing will be the speed, which is handled on action. Actor actions. Yeah. These are constant things that transcend it all. So patrol. So everything else. I guess turn-based counter, that could be over here. Because that's going to transcend everything. Is moving, this can be over here because that transcends everything. We never use this. I think I stopped using this. So I'm just going to comment it out for now rather than delete it, just in case. Animator, yes, that transcends. And it needs to be protected. And then idle break key. I mean, these are just properties here, so I guess I can move these over as well, because while they don't all transcend everything, they might be used. All right. All right, so real time with Andrew. Okay, check for stopping on animator move. I think this could actually be moved as well. This one was an interesting one. I got this from the internet. It was about, oh gosh, Ryder's been doing this thing recently where I click and it goes freaking out and it redoes things. Spain. How far above Sacramento? My friends are in Rockland, and I go there fairly often. So let's see. So this on-animator move, it keeps the nav mesh agent to be the same position. So therefore, I think this can actually be moved up here as well. Okay. All right, let's just make sure everything. Oh, what is this? This might resolve itself or not. The same field name is serialized multiple times. Base, action, patrol, turn-based, counter. Let's see. Turn-based, counter. Hmm. What's this? Okay. It says it's serialized multiple times, but it's not here at all now. It is here. Projected float, turn-based counter. But it's not here. Interesting. I'm not sure what this is. It's not in action patrol at all. Aha, well there you go. It's a lot warmer up there. Excuse me. I don't know what this means. I mean, I think I know what it means. The same field name is serialized multiple times, but I don't see that actually being the case. And it says it's on base, action, patrol. So action patrol turn-based inherits from action patrol. Action patrol from action states. And action states is where it takes it in. Actor actions does not have it at all. Okay, but maybe it should. Maybe it should, because maybe turn-based wait transcends states. And in cases where I need the data to transcend states, like distance to, or desired locomotion speed, we want that to be here. So hide in inspector, turn-based wait. Whoops. So if we do that, then all we have to do here is say actor actions dot turn-based wait, turn-based counter rather, and just add that to all of these here. And then change this to just without the underscore. We don't need to set that formally serialized as. All right, let's see if that solves it. Let's see. Yes, this is first person. You're circling the camera goes wild for a second. I'm circling the camera. I've seen some issues where things in the scene view get all janky. Like this is really character movement. Yeah, in the game view it's fine. Not sure what's going on. Oh, good, that cleared out. What's going on with that at all? Actually, I'd have to see the details, I suppose. Yes, so that's a good question, Dustin. And I will show you in just a second what I started doing on that front. Whoops. Just want to check, make sure these are working. I got 3 errors here, and I think I don't want those. So let's see. Yeah, so let's... so if we didn't hit anything. Yes, so that's a good call out here. If hit equals null, then null, return. Or if no hit, then return. Hit equals null. Okay, if hit dot collider equals null, return false. Alright, so if we didn't hit anything at all, then return null. Oh, gimbal lock's a thing. I tend to limit on the vertical. I limit how much it can go up and down for that reason. UI manager. If not game, return. Look at that, no errors yet. They all still do their thing. Move around like little ants. Yes, they do. Except for those two. These two haven't moved. This one hasn't moved yet. There it goes. There it goes. It just takes them a little while. But look at them going all over the place. So now technically some of them could go from here through the forest down to here. They won't do it too often, and they might get routed around it, but that's the idea. All right. So to answer your question, Dustin, you were asking about design documents, etc. So what I am doing, if we go to infinitypbr.com, and you click on the scripting docs, which is really hard to see when it's not moving, scripting docs. I have added this part down here for Legend of the Stones and systems and game state. So I actually need to update this because I did, and I think I put a note somewhere that things may change, but I did change after I wrote this out. But yeah, I'm putting some of the things, really kind of the things I want to remind myself of as well. Like I wrote this game state thing and I was like, great, we have a game state, but I'm going to have to remember what the hell I'm doing, and I'm going to forget. And also I know very well that I did forget about this whole legend mono behavior thing, which is something that I created a long time ago, but then forgot about, and so I stopped using it, and then it confused me for a little bit. And then example usage for stuff as well. I'm not sure what this is. That seems like a typo. Yeah. So that's what that is. So I've added some stuff there. I with yeah, I don't know exactly how it will form over time, but something. All right, so the next step, I should keep that open. The next step is, I think we are good to go to alert. So we don't need these if I inherit this from action states. Okay, so I get all of this stuff set. Okay. Okay, so the first thing is on enable. So void on enable. What do we do when we enable it? Hold on, I'm getting text messages. All right. So on enable, what do we do when we on enable? We've seen the player, which is, so the first thing we need to do, this is real time. So we need to stop what we're doing and go towards the player. Now I don't want the bad guy to go straight to the player, although that is a possibility. So I think what I want is an angle. I want an angle at which they might zigzag towards the player. If it were a 180 degree angle, then they might just go back and forth, side to side, which is not ideal. But we need some sort of angle. So we're gonna add here a protected float move toward player angle, and we're gonna set this to be, I'm just thinking, like, what if it's 33 degrees, then that means a 66 degrees total. So 90 degrees would be 180 degrees. It's going to be left and right, 90 degrees left and right. So if we wanted to move them, say 45 degrees, that would be a 90. Yeah, so we'll say just 45 at the start. So that's the angle at which they're going to choose a thing. And the first thing we need them to do is choose new destination, and or we could say move, choose position closer to player. So maybe we'll do that. Let's see. And yeah. So it's going to be similar to this. What do we do here? We set the next decision time. And I'm going to have to change these, I think, to be living on the enemies themselves. All right, so it's going to be very similar to this, but it's not going to be exactly this. So let's just copy this and we'll make it our own here. But so the actor actions, set next decision time. So I think, okay, I'm gonna leave it there. I think we need to add something to our actors at this point. because each type of enemy might have different values of this. So I'm thinking with our, not the prefabs, with our, what would it be? Probably the race, because all enemies will have a race, but not all will have a class. So on the race, yeah, I think what we'll do is add dictionaries for walk, what was it? What were we calling it? This is decision time patrol. So decision patrol, decision time patrol, and alert. And I think those two should suffice for all of them. We're going to make this a float, and instead of doing a min max, what I'm going to do is add a second one for each of these. So min will be 0, max will be 1. So for this will be 0 to 4. When they're alert, the decision time, gosh, this is going to be really the base speed of the player, or the thing, and their actions are going to have an additional time. So potentially an additional time. So when patrol, it's 0 to 4 because they're just bumbling around. No big deal there for the goblin here. And then for the actually, let me think about this, because we also have a stat for speed, or what is it? Base stat, hidden stats. It's a hidden stat. Recovery time. So they have a stat for recovery time, and I think we're gonna, during alert, not during patrol. Patrol doesn't matter. For during alert, we have to use the recovery time, because that's like if they use a big spell, they might have a longer recovery time, and that will be determined by the spell itself, I suppose. This is something that we're gonna have to go back and forth on as we build up the project. But I think what we're going to do is have a recovery time, but also have a base value that gets added to it. And that base value is used for walking. Okay, that's what we do. So recovery time is for when they're actually attacking, when they're using a bow or melee weapon or a ranged weapon or spells. Then we will use their recovery time, and then that will determine when their next attack happens. There's an assumption here that in most cases they're still within the attack range, and if they're not, then they will revert to this timer, which during decision is going to be 1. So this is going to be 1 in-game minute, or should it be longer? This means like when they're walking, they will walk for 1 in-game minute towards the player before making another decision. So yeah, we'll go with that. We can always change it. Okay, so now I'm going to make an update to my patrol one here. Walk time min is not going to be walk time min. It's actually going to be controlled by here, and so we need to get the actor item attribute. So to do that, we'll put this in the, well, the actor might already have it. Let's see, actor. Don't want to reinvent wheels here. Oh yeah, this was a hacky way to save some script. So the actor, the player, race. So this does not have race. It should have a race. It might have it on here. Race. Yeah, so that's the character, race, name. Character race itself is item attributes, character race, and this is on player. Okay, so that's how we get that. So we're going to do this in action states. We're going to say protected item attribute. Actor race is actor dot player dot character race, and yes, we'll need to bring in that the modules, the game modules. So now we have our actor race, and with that we can get their patrol time. So on actor patrol, instead of walk time min, we will get actor race dot dictionaries dot value float. So this gives us some options here. Usually it will just get the first one. You can also have the option to get a random one, which is really cool for some situations. But in this case, we want to get the index 0. So we're going to pass in the key, which is decision time patrol, and false, not random, and then 0. And then for walk time max, we will do similar, but do 1. And what's this here? Why is it wanting to make it static? Ah, this is why. It's a property. So we're going to change these to decision, can't spell, decision time min, and change this to decision time max. All right, so that should give us now the ability to get those and set them on the race rather than on the other script, the actor themselves. And so for our alert version, we need something similar. So decision time min is going to be decision time alert, and oftentimes this is going to be the same value, but not all the time. And yeah, all right, so this is going to be decision time min to decision time max. All right, and all right, so actor actions, we're toggling the nav mesh to turn on. I think we should first check to see if we can attack the player. Essentially, as soon as it's enabled, they will decide whether they're going to attack. And if they can't attack, i.e., if they're not just, well, we'll figure out the logic. So maybe do attack first. Maybe not. Maybe they just will make a decision before, or choose this and then in the regular update loop decide what to do. All right, so toggle the nav mesh agent on. Make sure we're on the nav mesh. That's annoying when we're not. And then, so we need to choose a walk to position, and that's going to be an override here. So private override vector 3, choose a walk to position. Is that right? Return default. What is it? It's not. Is it public override? Protected override? Oh. I guess we can make a new one. Okay, we're change the plans. Instead of that, we're going to choose or choose position closer to player. All right, and we'll make that protected because I think we might do it slightly different for the turn-based one. When do I use protected? When writer tells me to use protected. I think my understanding and my understanding is that protected is used with overrides. Why? Oh, because I'm doing this. What's going on here? Hold on. Oh my gosh, I have the same. Get new position towards player. I named them the same thing. All right, so I think you use protected when you're going to override something or something like that. When Merrick knows, he has a good example of this, but I forget it off the top of my head. Yeah, I hope that is not confusing. It is for me. So, so what do we got here? Text messages. That's what we got. What is this? That's some math. Okay. All right. All right. So we need to get a new position towards the player. So, essentially, we know where we are. We know where the player is. We need to get a position on an arc, or really some direction forward. We're only going to be walking for 1 in-game minute, so, or 1 second or something. This is why might need to be changed. But we're going to be walking for some period of time. So it doesn't really matter the distance. The distance isn't the thing. It's the direction and the angle that's the key. And if you know me, you know that whenever we get to there you go, Dustin. Thank you. Protected is like a private, except it can be used from the derived classes as well. When it comes to geometry, things get dicey. So we need to get a new position. And how do I do this? Okay, let's first get a random angle. So var random angle equals move toward player angle. So random dot range between negative that, and Unity engine dot random dot range. Nope. See, writer does that sometimes. All right, random dot range. So we get our random angle. Now we need to get a direction from the actor to the player on plus this angle. Direction to player is going to be legend utilities dot direction from to. See, I saved myself this a while back because I knew it was going to come in handy. So this is going to be from the actor dot transform dot position and to the game dot player position. Now let's look at this direction just to see what it's doing here. It is getting the to from divided by the distance to from, and that gives us a vector towards that okay. And now how do we modify this by the angle? Let's see. So we have a vector 3 direction and random angle to walk towards. Yes, private protected. It gets very confusing. I don't understand protected. You know, that term doesn't. Public and private make a lot of sense to me, but protected doesn't quite. Hold on, I need a jacket. That's how cold it is. I need to put a light hoodie on. A light hoodie because it's that cold. Crazy, right? It's like we went back in time to spring or fall, forward in time. All right. All right. So how do we do this? We know the direction now. So if I could move in that direction, I just need to get a position that's really just like 10 units away. I'm going to add one more variable here. Am I going to add one more? I was thinking of adding one more where we a distance, so like 3 meters, 5 meters that they would walk in any given segment. But I think the time should just determine that. So maybe not. Okay. The problem at hand, we know the direction. We know an angle to add to that. How to add a random angle to a direction. Well, let's ask the Google. Unity 3D, add angle to direction. I think I did this with the arrow thing. Unity angle and position relative to, yeah, no, not that. Vector 3.angle. No, we don't want the angle between them. We want to add an angle to a direction. This could be something. Answers always takes a while to load. You notice that? Is it because they tried to shut it down? Now they just don't want people to use it? Or it takes a long time to load. I don't know. I don't know why it takes so long. Jeez, why are you asking me? All right, let's see. I'm trying to create a star of vector points around a point with a constant angle between them. Okay. Ah, what is this? This is interesting. I don't know if, oh, it just didn't work at all. I don't know if this is it. So test equals is actually going to be on the Z. So we'll put the random angles there on the Z. Times that, and let's just see debug.log, and we'll say random angle is random angle, and direction to player is direction to player, and test is test. This doesn't, oh, this is not needed. So let's just see what comes out of that. And how to add a slight angle rotation variation transform forward. Right now, shooting my gun, I'm using shoot. Okay, but I want to add a slight random variation. I know the feeling. Direction, new, range, offset, offset. Oh, that's an interesting way of doing it. Interesting. Maybe this is what I can use. Transform vector. So if I make this the random, oops. If I make this the random, we're going to do another test. And X is going to be 0. And Z is going to be 0. And Y is random angle. and then we do vector3 spray direction. So this is going to be transform direction, test direction. Okay, and then we're going to do a debug just to see what these come out with. See if any of this makes sense. All right. Now I'll press play. So this should happen pretty fast to all these that are already going to see the player right at the beginning. So we should get a lot of debugs right at the beginning. Oh, and I should turn this on. And did we not get any? Oh, you know why? Because my actor actions doesn't actually transition to that state. It's going to be action alert. Action alert, and it's going to be action alert turn based. That doesn't exist yet, so we'll comment it out. But okay, now action alert should do something. Action alert turn based, and again we're going to be commenting that out, but just getting ready for the future. All right, now it should do that, and then enabled if the can see player and we're not turn based, then enable that, and then on enable will do a thing. All right, so start this over. Angle axis, where it takes an angle in a direction, rotates it to that. I don't need it to rotate. I know, I get brain bugs too. I don't need it to rotate. I just need to get the direction from here on a random angle left and right. And then I can get a position on that direction. No reference. Okay. What a start. Oh, did I not add it? I didn't add it. I didn't. Yeah. All these little silly things. Action alert. Turn it off by default. And apply all. And press play. All right. Here we go. We got some stuff out. So let me look at the code. We'll bring this over here. Hopefully you can still see the gist of it. Where are we? All right, get new position. So the first one is random angle is -15. Direction to player is that. Test will give us that. All right, that seems like it might be correct. I don't know. And then direction test is the same thing. So that's probably not right. So I'm going to say that perhaps this test is correct. And we're going to say new position. Our new position equals transform dot forward times test times 10. plus test. So we're getting the transform forward. We're adding in this direction, or transform.position, I guess. Okay, yeah. It's transform position plus the test times 10. So this value times 10, we're going to add to the position. But I do want to remove the y from this. I'm not going to, well, or maybe not. Maybe not. I think, yeah, I guess maybe not. We'll just try this. And we're going then debug.draw line from transform.position plus vector 3.up to new position plus vector 3.up. That way we can just see it doesn't go through the ground. And then we're going to make this magenta and 1F. Yeah, and so we should just see a bunch of pink lines to the left and right of all these red lines, because these are all to the player, and they're all going to choose a spot, should be within 45 degrees of the player, 10 meters away from them. Technically, let's see what happens. Cross your fingers, everybody. Hold your breath. Cross your toes. Ooh, okay. So let's dig into this. We got something that looks like it's actually working. This. It does appear to have worked. Right? Is this... It appears to have worked. I wonder if I need a minimum angle. The whole idea is, I don't know, for those of you, it's not a horn that you blow. It's more of a it's a Lucky Charms thing. You need a box of Lucky Charms, and you need to pull out a marshmallow Lucky Charm, and then you need to say Jason Storey, Jason Storey, Jason Storey 3 times in a mirror, and then he appears. But no, I figured out why it works. It works because I'm a genius. That's why. No, it works because of this Quaternion Euler. So nobody really understands Quaternions. Nobody understands that. Not even a genius understands that. So this is basically taking the Euler, the Quaternion, passing the Euler angle or something, and then direction player normalized. I don't understand that either. I don't understand any of this. All I know is that it seems to work. And that's good enough to me. But I can make this into a utility, I think. So I've got these ones here for, look rotation and direction and all that stuff. It seems to me that I should be able to get a position out from a utility here, which is essentially going to be private vector 3 get new position with position forward with angle. I know that's a mouthful, but essentially it would be this, and we would be passing in angle, so float angle, and we need negative angle and positive angle, and then we need the from transform from and transform to. So this would be spelled right, and then this would be from, and this would be to dot position. And then we need float distance, and we can set that to be 10. And then we also need bool draw line equals false. All right, and then if not draw line, return test. Otherwise, draw line and return test. But I think we might as well just say if draw line, rather than that. And then this would be random angle can be here, and we can remove that. Direction to player is, yeah, so let me move this into the utilities. And we'll move it right here. So it's going to be a public static. And we're going to call it get position forward with angle. All right, so transform position. This is going to be from position, new position. Okay, direction to player. We're just going to throw that there. So we're going to get direction with angle. And then the new position is going to be from position. So we'll make it a little bit more efficient. From position equals from dot position plus direction with angle plus distance. And then if we're drawing a line, we'll draw a line, and then we'll return that. So let's plug this in and see if it works. Var new position equals legend utilities dot get that, and we're going to do our angle. Move towards player angle, and from is going to be transform, and then to is going to be game.player transform. Player object, yes, dot transform. And then distance and draw a line. So we do want 10, and we do want to draw the line. And that should be that. If that works, we're just going to return that, which means we'll just make it a, gosh, what's the term? I just saw Jason Wyman's video this morning, and he mentioned what this is, the term for that. Really bad with names and dates, and that includes names of things like that. Gosh, I know one of you knows it, but that's okay. We can turn it into one of those, essentially. There's a tag on the shirt, needs to be ripped. Can it be ripped without ripping the shirt? It can. Huh, nice. All right, that was annoying my skin. Yep. Now we're going to make sure it doesn't break. All right. So it works here, and so now you suggest making a really wide angle. Is that what I hear? So instead of 45, where do we get the Where do we get this from? Oh, this should not be. Yeah, I want that exposed, so I have to serialize it. So instead of 45, we can go not lambda expression. It's something expression. Expression body expression, something like that. If we go 90 degrees, now it could go left to right. We'll see. See these pink lines as they pop up? Well, none of them are. Oh, you know what I didn't do? This. Aha, there you go. Hold on, yeah, I want to read this thing that's just sent to me. Yep. Yes. All right. Let's do one more test. We'll go crazy and do 180. So this is now any direction. So our pink lines should be going in any old direction. Expression, body. Isn't it 3 words? Expression, body, something. There you go. So they were all over the place. We'll do one more time, and then I'll press pause like I was supposed to that first time. There. So yeah, so this one's going backwards, that one's going backwards, that one's going backwards. So that totally works. Holy cow. There you go. So let's get back to 45. And actually, I'm going to make it 55. I think I do want it a little wider. It averages out to being pretty straight towards the player. And in Might and Magic 6, they go zigzag left and right. And I think in that one, they will go left, then right, and they'll do a pattern that's a pretty solid angle. I don't want to do it exactly like that. I want them to be a little bit more unique. And so they'll do that. Okay, so now that we have this angle, this is great, by the way. So now we can just go. I don't know if I'm going to have to add more to it, but for now, all of that can just be this. Get new position towards player, and I'm going to call this new position to player. Make it shorter. Choose a new spot, new position. We'll just make it like that. And there you go. I'm not going to use the return value. I'm not going to use the return value. But what will I do? We need to make them actually move now. And the way we do that in Patrol is with the update. We do handle locomotion. So we need our update now. Private void update. And I guess I should still copy these just to be absolutely sure. But I still need to figure out how to do the full pause when we're doing one of these, where everything just stops in its tracks and doesn't like stop moving, but just pauses, freezes, and then when it unfreezes, continues exactly what it was doing. Yep. All right. And then real time, private, bool, real time, return true. So this is saying, did we do something here? There might be a time where I add something after. I'm just kind of prepping for the future, potential futures that might never even happen. All right, so I don't need this here. We don't need to check for that anymore. So first we're going to handle the locomotion. And whoops. See, okay. So we do need to do a little bit more here. Next decision time, and oh, we're doing real time, so this is not turn-based, so we don't need to do the turn-based counter. Okay, well let's just see if they start moving forward. That's the basic start. Do they start moving forward to the pink line? Nope. Nope, they do not. All right, this one. This is happening there. We got our max speed. Why don't they? Wrong button. Actor actions. Handle locomotion. Maybe we need to set our desired velocity. What do we do when we set it in patrol? Set next movement. We do set the decision time, turn it on, and get a new position, and that's it. Well, that's all we do. So is moving is just if the nav mesh is turned on. So let me just double check that that is the case for these non-moving characters. That should be expression body method. That's the term. I don't think it's members. I think it's method. But something like that. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you. Do we have the nav mesh agent turned on? It is. So it should be moving. Handle locomotion. If we're moving, nav speed should be the desired velocity, magnitude. Clamp that to max speed. Max speed is 1. And then desired speed, move towards that at speed change, which is also 1. from our current desired speed to the new nav speed, animator set float. So this should all be working. What we need to know is if this is actually happening. So debug.log and magnitude is magnitude. All right, let's see if this gives us any indication that perhaps, for whatever reason, it doesn't have a desired velocity. It should have a desired velocity. When you set destination, it should want to move. It wants to move there. It's just what it does. But it says 0. Why does it say 0? Let's find out. We are going to look for the destination. And again, we are saying the destination here. Huh, wait. Nav message set destination? Huh. I wonder if that matters. I mean, it works fine on the other one, so I don't know why it wouldn't work fine here, but we'll figure it out. We'll see if that matters. All right. Let's try again. All right, so we have different destinations, but no desire to move there. Let's make sure these are different than our own. More debugging, debug logging. Distance is legend utilities dot distance between this and transform dot position. Oh, distance is not far. Okay, so apparently it's not gain the position that we think it's gain or something. Let's look at our utilities. Direction, return direction with angle? No, that's why. New position. I returned the wrong thing. I was returning the direction with angle, and I need to return the new position. There they all go. Oh, look, and every second they're, well, actually, I don't know what they're doing. Looks like they're doing it more than every second. Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, they definitely moved. So that's good. And I guess the set destination makes more sense. So I should probably update patrol as well. Destination equals, yeah, and so we should just do this here. Okay, set destination. All right, and then my debug can be removed. All right. What is odd, though, is that I kept showing pink lines, and pink lines only happen when we call this on Legend Utilities, which only happens in one place, which is choose position, which should itself only happen right now in one place, and that's on enable. So does that mean that these were being disabled and then re-enabled? Well, this time I don't see a lot of pink. Oh, I saw another pink line there. So I'm wondering, like this one, why did it choose a new pink line? Did it stop seeing the player and then re-see the player? All right, well, all right, let's fix this now by doing, so the first thing we do on enable is that. The second thing on update, real time, handle locomotion, sure, but first we want to try attacking. So we need to see if we're in range attack, and then so if range attack, or let's see, so yeah, range attack, then return, or how about this? So, okay, try attacks. Well, let's do that because we want to try our attacks, but we also want to handle the locomotion afterwards. If we are successful in trying an attack, then our position's going to change. We're going to want to stop moving, and so locomotion has to be handled still. So now we're going to do private void try attacks, and this is going to be okay, so if we're in melee range, then we're going to try do melee. So melee attack, and actually we're going to say if melee attack, then return. Then if range attack, return. I don't know if there's going to be anything beyond that. Is this? Oh. Alright, let's get rid of that. Apparently there's a class called melee attack. Hopefully that doesn't destroy the project. It does. No, it doesn't. Alright, there we go. So we'll create two methods here for melee and range attack. So for melee attack, the first thing we're going to do is check if we're in melee distance. So return true if we get to the bottom of either of these. So melee distance is, where is that stored? Where is it stored? I feel like it's somewhere. I feel like I put this somewhere, but I actually don't know if I did. Yeah. I don't know if I did that actually. All right, I think I'm going to do it. Add it to player actor. So down here. All right. So we're going to do header NPC details, and then public float melee distance equals 3f. And public float range distance equals, I don't know, 15f. I don't know what this should actually be. So there's two ways of doing the range distance. One is with the weapon itself. If they have a bow or a crossbow or something like that equipped, that itself can have a distance attached to it. Or we can just hard code it to this. And I think for now I'm going to hard code it to the actor themselves, just to keep control of that. This could include magic spells and other things, but you know, for the player, the spell has a range and all that. For the enemy, I don't know. I might change it, but for now we're going to keep it simple and just get it working, and then add that later, I suppose. The only thing is, because with ranged weapons and spells, the range might be affected by stats. So if you cast a spell on them that lowers their stats, or if something casts a spell that increases their stats, then they might be able to hit you from further away or from less far away. So that could be a strategic change. That's why the range distance should probably not be hard-coded, but for now it's going to be hard-coded. Just for now, just so we get this working. So this is on the player, and so action alert. We're gonna add in some properties here. We're gonna say protected float melee distance is expression body method. What is it? Actor.player melee distance, and we'll do range distance 2. Okay, so if distance to player, where is it? Distance to somewhere. I've got distance to player. I thought I did on one of these action states. Let me drink some water real quick. Oh my God, there's no legend of any stones yet. I gotta figure out what the hell the legend is. I think it might end up being like Lost, where I just create puzzles but have no answers for them, and in the end we'll just have Hurley explain everything. How your characters were just dead all along. Just kidding. Somewhere I had distance to player. I thought it was distance to player. Okay. So we'll make it public. If actor actions dot distance to player is greater than range distance, return false. And similarly on here, if its distance is greater than melee distance, and return false. So first we're going to try a melee. If we're out of that distance, then we'll try a range. If we're out of that distance, then we just handle locomotion. And part of that will be the next decision thing. And so for now, actually, yeah, so we're not going to, and if we don't, okay, so set desired, so if we can melee attack, wait, hold on. So one thing though is that we need to do the decision time. And so next action. Where did we do that on patrol? Whoops. Okay, this is on making a decision. So when we try to attack, we won't do anything if we can't. So this only happens if our we're able to make another decision. So we're going to do make a decision. We'll do that here as well to keep it. Okay, we're going to try a melee attack. If we can't, we're going to try a range attack. If we can't, that means we're out of the range. We need to get closer. So then we're going to choose position closer to the player. And that will get us also doing our next decision time. Yep. And for this, we're going to do set decision time to be, let's see if we can get the stat out. We're going to get the actor.player.stats.get properties.stats.hidden stats. Recovery time dot value or final stat. Oh, wrong type of brackets. All right, so that should give us the final stat of our recovery time. And I don't actually know what this value is right now. We're going to figure that out. I might need to modify it a little bit. So we're going to say var recovery time equals that. Debug.log melee recovery time is forgot a dollar sign, dollar bills, y'all. Recovery time. And then we'll pass that in here. Because I don't actually know what the recovery time. I don't think it. I forget if I set it to in-game minutes or something like that. But okay, so we'll do a recovery time. And I think we need to get the recovery time from the weapon too, because they've got the player recovery time plus the weapon or spell recovery time. So weapon recovery time is going to be actor.player.melee weapon, equipped weapon. Well, okay, first of all, this. We should also do this if we don't have an equipped weapon. Then return false. So if we don't have a weapon equipped, then we return false. And similarly here, for the range, before we... Well, I get that that's called all the time. So if we have, if we have has bow equipped, then we return false. All right, so we definitely have weapon. So weapon, equipped weapon dot stats dot what is this? Equipped weapon is a game item object dot attributes dot get properties dot dot Okay, I'm gonna put a pin in this one and say debug.log to do weapon and range weapon recovery time. Because I may not have actually set that up yet, and I don't want to worry about doing that while trying to get this just working. So we will need to add that, but now we have recovery time, and we'll set the next decision to that. We will have to, of course, do the actual attack, but we'll do that in a bit. And recovery time. All right. I believe right now none of them have any bows equipped, so there's no need to do any range stuff for these ones. At some point I will throw in a flying eye, which has a range attack, and we can handle that then. All right, so you see one problem. One problem is that when they get close to me, they should just go straight towards me. Because now they're just going around, which, you know, is fine, but it's kind of a mess. All right, and there's some null references, so let's see what's going on here. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I'm getting a null reference because I think they don't have the hidden stat. So I'm going to say add if null is true, and the new actor is going to be actor.player. So I add this method. I talk about it a lot because I'm very proud of it. But I add this bit to this method. So now when I try get the stat, if I don't have it, it will add it, which is nice. So I'm going to run out into the middle of them all. All right, so okay, recovery time is 0.1. That's good because that means I did set it to game time. So it'd be 0.1 of a minute. So 6 seconds is their base recovery time. Probably going to change that, but all right. So there's a lot going on here. There's a few things. They are trying to attack, which is great, but if they're in a certain distance of the player, then for this choose position closer to player, let's see. New player position is that. But if actor actions dot distance to player is less than, I don't know, 5 meters, then really they're going to go directly to a spot around the player, and then return true. And for now, I'm going to say just is going to be game.player position, but that's not the case. They're actually going to choose a spot around the player. I think I already have this set up from before, and this is a fun bit. If we look at our player, wherever they may be, where are they? Where is it? Why am I missing it? Here we are. If we look at our player, we have these circles around it. I don't know if you've seen those, if you've noticed those little circles. These are the enemy attack positions. See that? They're all around, and as the player rotates, those positions don't rotate. It has a counterbalance to the rotation. So somewhere here, player attack positions. Isn't that nice? This is left over from before. So let's open this up and see what we got here. So a couple things. One, I want to put this in the right namespace. So namespace Infinity PBR Legend of the Stones, and bring this up, over. So this is an old script, which means that it's probably going to have to be refactored quite a bit. Okay, and for this we also need then using static Infinity PBR to Legend of the Stones player attack positions, and what kind of things do we have here? Update. For each filled position, okay, so this is basically saying for the filled positions, check to see if the enemy is dead that's in it. Okay. Spot is available. See, I can make this better now. I'm better than I was last time I wrote this. Okay, so spot is available is going to be filled positions first or default, where x equals null, not equal null. So basically this should be saying for all my filled positions, get the first one that is null, and if that's not null, wait, that's interesting. I guess any. Yeah, so if any are null, there we go. That's better. So filled positions, if any of the filled positions are null, then it returns true. And that means the spot's available. Boom. Get rid of all that. Debug draw. What is this doing? Attack positions. filled positions. I'm not sure what that's doing. Okay. Closest available position to an actor object. Min distance is a lot. Min index is, what is this? Okay, so the attack positions is just keeping the transform, and the filled positions is actually the actors that are in the positions. Could probably make that the same thing in a different class, but that's okay for now. What am I doing here? Closest available position for each attack position. If it's empty or if it's full, we don't do anything. Otherwise, if it's empty, we can fill it, or we get the disk. I see. We find the minimum distance and return that. Okay, this can be done differently. So first we need yeah, actually, public attack position list attack position positions, and we're going to create a new class, and this is going to be this in it. New this attack position. So we'll comment those out. So check for dead enemies, and in check for dead enemies, we're going to do what we were doing here. It's going to say for each var position in positions, check for a dead position dot check for a dead enemy. Check for dead. Check for dead. Okay. And then we will add a check for dead here, and we will just say to do check if the filled position is dead. All right, delete that. Okay, so spy is going to available will be positions anywhere x dot yeah, hold on 1 second. We gotta go down here. These are not going to be an array anymore. There's just going to be a transform position, and game object is actor. And then public, yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah, any dot actor equals null. Okay. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing here, so I'm just gonna remove this for now. Closest available position, it returns a bool and an int. I suppose that means if it's available. Found spot, yeah. So what we're really gonna do is public position what is it again? Attack position. Attack position. Closest attack position to transform dot position, or we'll say from position. And this is going to find the closest one, and so to do that we will say for each of our position in positions dot where x dot actor equals null for each empty one. So I see what I did there. Okay, var closest distance equals 1000f, really high. Var closest position, and then we will say if legend utilities dot, well, this can actually, yeah, legend utilities dot distance between position dot position and from position dot position is greater than closest distance, and return, or not return, continue. And what's this? Spot. We'll call it spot. What did I just do? I hate it when it does this. It does all that, and I'm like, wait, why are you doing so much? Position. Okay. So if this one's further away than the closest, then we'll just continue. Otherwise, and actually we will cache the distance. So var distance equals that, and if distance is greater than closest distance, then continue. Otherwise, closest distance equals distance, and closest position equals position. And then at the end of all of that, we will return closest position. It says it might not be, but how about this? If closest position equals null, then return default. All right. We shouldn't run into an issue where it's, because we're going to check to see if it has a spot available before we even do this. So we'll see. Okay, and then this can just be commented out for now. All right. So this is going to cause me an error. All right. New attack position then. All right. So now in our alert, instead of getting the player position, So we're going to do two things. One, we're going to say if actor or what is it? Player attack positions dot spot is available. If there's not a spot available, then we will do this. We'll set it to the player position and return true. This will make the bad guy just walk around the player, but also behind the bad guy, so they should just keep moving essentially. And then otherwise, we will find the closest spot. We will say nav mesh agent dot set destination to player attack positions dot closest attack position to my actor dot, or really this one's transform dot spot dot position, and we'll set destination to that and return true. All right, so if our distance is less than 5 meters, then we're going to go straight for the player or for one of their attack spots. We're going to choose the closest one and go for that. That will be our new destination. Otherwise, we'll get a position closer to the player. That's because we're over 5 meters, and we'll return true. Okay. And I suppose this is where we can claim a position as well. So we would probably say player attack positions dot here var selected attack position equals that. So we can say, how about closest attack position, and then closest attack position spot dot position, and we'll say dot actor equals actor dot game, or just game object. Okay, so basically claim the spot there. So find closest attack spot, set our destination to that spot, and claim the spot for ourselves. Okay. All right, let's see if this works. I don't know. I don't think I forgot to assign anything. We'll find out if there's a lot of null references. None. So let's see if these bad guys choose hard to tell what they're doing. Where are my attack positions? Oh, I don't even have them. Nothing to say there. All right, well, it doesn't kind of look like they're... So you can see as I move around, the positions kind of stay the same spot. Surrounded by goblins. Okay, so this could be why I was doing the draw thing. So what we will do then is say attack position, public void update, not public, just void, draw line, and private void draw line is going to be if actor equals null, return otherwise, debug.draw line, it's going to be from spot dot position plus vector 3 dot up to the actor dot transform dot position plus vector 3 dot up, and we'll make it color yellow and 0.1 F. Can't see what I typed. 0.1 F. There we go. All right, let's see if this works. Does it work? See, we also need a way to kick people out of their spot if they get too far away from it. All right. I do not see any yellow lines. Okay, so I don't think it's actually working. Let me just clean this up a little bit while we're here. Okay. Oh, well, we didn't do the... This should actually be a tick. And then here we need to do tick, because these aren't mono behaviors. So private void tick for each var position in positions. For each position dot tick. And I guess we could do positions all. No. We'll do something like this. Ah. So I guess this is better for this as well. For each, check for dead. That's a better way of doing it. Okay. So we weren't calling that before, but I'm not sure if there was it was doing it either. In my actions alert, All right. The first step is just getting them moving in there, I suppose. There's going to be more finessing around this. Like if they're not quite in there, but they can attack, they should definitely attack. Right now, nobody's doing any attacks. I don't see any yellow lines. They're just hanging around. That's because they're close enough, I think. So they should be trying to attack, I suppose. Okay, so let's do that. Let's make them attack, so we can actually visually see that part too. So animator dot set trigger attack. Do we have action states? Attack key, and this is actually going to be an array of strings. Actually, no. Yeah, it is. Well, it is going to be an array of strings, but this is going to be an array of strings as well. Okay. Attack key random.range 0 to attack key.length. So random attack. Okay, and then let me just set that up. So we have attack 1, 2, 3, 4 for the goblin and uppercase A's. So on our test goblin here, we will go to our triggers and floats, attack 2, 3, 4, and attack 1, attack 2, attack 3, and attack 4. So now they should just do random attacks. And to slow them down, because 0.1 is too fast, I think, for attacks, we're going to add recovery time. Our weapon recovery time equals 0.4, and weapon recovery time F. All right. So that should slow them down a little bit too, so they're not just hacking and slashing nonstop. Well, that's more in line with what the player will be having as a delay as well. All right, let's just see what happens. Ah, we're getting attacked. Whoa. So you can see it is actually quite fast. We're getting slaughtered. So they definitely need to be looking at the player at all times. Whoa, and wherever that just happened. All right, so there's more to do here. Let me make this full screen as we get hacked and slashed to death. One of these will probably be a decent screenshot for the next image. So there's more to do. First, we have to make them not attack if they're not in a spot. We have to make them look at the player so they're not like this guy who's tacking off to the side. Yeah. So now they just look like they're fighting each other. All right. So clearly more to do. But it's about time for me to head off because I'm going to hang out with a friend and play some board game tonight. So, look at that. More to do, more to do, more to do. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or morning or night or evening. And I'll see you tomorrow at the Game Dev Show. Bye.